This is Interviews, the series where I talk to folks I've never met about high school bands, famous friends, and rats. Today's guest is Freddy Gabrsek. How long have you been working at the Shaw Festival?
I've been at the Shaw since 1992.
Okay.
Yeah, I started on the changeover crew, the Royal George changeover crew. That's what I did for a season, and then I got into the audio department because I've always done audio. I've always been in recording studios and that kind of no theater training at all. And so from there, it was just I started running shows and then building shows, sound design. Yeah, and I love it. It's such a creative outlet for me. The rest of the year, as you can see, this is my shop. I build guitars.
Yeah.
So, I'm here all alone building guitars for a half a year, and by the time the Shaw starts up, I'm so happy to get out of here and, go work with a bunch of amazing, talented people.
I do wish that we had recorded earlier the moment where I was trying to give someone who is an audio professional audio settings advice. As a member of the audio department, what are some of the jobs that you take on?
Well, the most basic thing that I do is to run a show. If it's what I call a book play, like not a musical, there will be sound effects, underscore music, maybe a tops and tail music to an act or whatever. And we program that into a computer and hit go when the stage manager tells us to hit go, and then the sound comes out. So everything you hear when you go to see a play is run by an audio operator, like what I would do.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful recording studio at the Shaw. It's just state-of-the-art recording studio. And so if a composer comes in and is scoring for a play, they can use that studio, and I will engineer and produce the recordings, mix them down. When we have a live musical, then we have to be out in the house and actually mix the play. Because when you have live microphones on actors, that requires you to actually be out in the audience and hear what the audience is hearing. You can't be up in a booth somewhere and trying to mix over monitors, because it just doesn't work.
Right. And did you train in any kind of post-secondary training? Like, I'm wondering about sort of how you get into the work that you do, because it's so interesting.
I was in a band. It's my second band, when I was 16, 15 years old, and we needed a place to rehearse. And there was a small studio. It was small. It was called MCG, and we rented it by the month. And it was pretty expensive to rent by the month to rehearse in. So, they kind of took me on as an intern and trained me to how to operate the tape machines and the mixing board and all that. And so if I came in and ran sessions, that deferred the cost of the rental to rehearse in the place. Yeah.
And and now I need to know the names of these bands, your first two bands, because I have a hilarious band name as well from my high school days.
Oh man. Well, the very first band had no name at all. That's how long that lasted. And then we were called Centrics. Made up word. Just
okay.
It had an X in it, and I still have a promo shot.
Really?
From that band. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the early groups, we just did the pop music of the day.
Okay.
So, a flock of seagulls, right? The hair and everything.
but let's talk about this side of your work. So the time when you're not working at Shaw, you're building guitars for lots of famous people. Is that what I meant to understand?
Not that many famous people, yeah, some, but all walks of life. Because I'm a St. Catharines boy, I'm a huge Rush fan. I was about 21 years old when I started working for Rush, actually.
Oh, wow.
Doing all the guitars, setups, maintenance, restorations for both the guitar player and the bass player, Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee. And it's been a constant relationship. So that's been
Wow.
a lot of fun. Yeah.
And you build guitars from scratch, or are you mostly repurposing and refurbishing older guitars?
Absolutely from scratch. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And oh yeah, for sure. A lot of restorations and refurbishments of important vintage instruments.
How many guitars do you keep in your house that are just yours?
I can't tell you that because my wife might see the video. I have a lot of equipment, and most of it I built myself. Microphones, compressors, EQs, mic preamps, all that stuff. I'm an insatiable builder. So it's not just guitars; it's everything. I love building stuff.
And what's one of your favorite shows that you've worked on at the Shaw?
I would have to say Journey's End. I had to create a lot of sounds that were hard to find. I like, for instance, rats. I needed to have the sound of a lot of rats because there were rats running around in the trenches. We had no rat sounds in our sound effect library.
Right.
So I had an idea that I would go to, there was a local serpentarium where the guy had snakes and all kinds of alligators and things like that. And he raised rats as well to feed to the snakes. So I went there with my portable recording device, and there was a cage with 100 rats in it, and my idea was to stick the mic in there and have them squeal, and not a peep. They were dead silent, nothing. And so after a few minutes, I thought I was just going to give up and go home. And the guy said, "Oh, just here." He grabbed a rat with some tongs and said, "It's feeding time for the snakes anyway." So he took it out and threw it to the snakes. And that's when they all went ballistic. They all started screaming and squealing. And I got a good recording. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for the interview.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.